No, I think it's fair to say this weekend will probably go down as one of the more muted and irrelevant Premier League game weeks. Not a hell of a lot has happened. However, Nottingham Forest have carried on their European form. Man City have faltered again. Brighton have gained a point at their expense. Tottenham have lost, and West Ham have drew away at Everton. That's what we're going to be discussing, but we can't carry on without mentioning what has just happened at Wembley, to the pure joy of pretty much every football fan in the country, barring Liverpool and Sunderland fans. Newcastle just lifted the Carabao Cup to end their trophy drought, which I think most fans can express their admiration, because Newcastle fans don't have it easy, and for a club as a whole and for football, I think it's been a very good afternoon, Sean.
Yeah, I only seen about 20 minutes of the game, and from what the commentary was saying, they fully deserved it. Don't think Liverpool really turned up, and I actually thought Liverpool looked a little bit tired as well. How Salah performed, I think he was still sulking over the PSG game.
I don't think he touched it 1 of 5 times.
No, I think he has got a little bit of an attitude issue there. I know. Did you see the footage of when Nunes missed a penalty in the shootout? He didn't seem like he was very pleased, and he carried on playing today like it was still there. But yeah, well done the Newcastle. I think it was 70 years since they've won a trophy. I won't knock the Carabao Cup. I'll say just well done and leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely. And nice to see somebody else win a trophy. And I would absolutely love it for Nottingham Forest or another club to go on and win the FA Cup, and for it to be a season of domestic titles, not dominated by the normal clubs. But there we are. But yeah, I was glad to see that this afternoon. Fully deserved. I thought Liverpool were dreadful, to be totally honest. And yeah, not been a good week for Arne Slot, that is for sure. Let's see who's joining us before we crack on. Before today, 30 English teams have won either the FA Cup or the League Cup or a European trophy in the top flight since Newcastle last won a trophy. It's a massive amount of time they've been trophyless, so good to see them back where they belong. Fahid, I hope you are well. With Man U winning and Wolves win yesterday, feels like the weekend where the bottom 3 was confirmed. We knew already, didn't we? But yeah, it seems that way for sure. Yeah, we did have a good day yesterday. I mean, results were irrelevant, aren't they? Let's be honest. But yeah, it was a good day out. Larry, I hope you're well. Thanks for joining us. Rain and more rain. Blimey, is it not like 30 degrees over there? What a shame. Rain is never fun. A rare day at the south. I mean, yeah, we had some nice sunshine today. I mean, I was stuck in Greg's, but there was some nice sunshine, so I wandered out. It was lovely. Very happy for Newcastle, massive club who've been sleeping for too long. Absolutely. And Sharky, I hope you are well. So going to the Premier League side of things on the Premier League Roundup show, let's go to the Etihad first. Man City 2, Brighton 2. Now I want to talk about this, not about Man City, but about Brighton was what I want to focus on. Sean, they are in with a shout of Europe. They're in that sort of nest of clubs that will feel like they're in a European fight, and a point away from home at Man City. But from what I've read and seen and heard, it seems like they could have had all 3.
Yeah, they've done well for a few years, haven't they? And they've had like 2 or 3 half-decent managers, but they haven't quite got in Europe, I don't think. Have they had a season in Europe? Or
once they had the Europa League one season.
Did they? Was that under Potter, or was that under the last one?
I think that was De Zerbi.
Was it? Yeah, we mentioned these last week, didn't we? We sort of like just going about their business, Brighton being Brighton. And with so many teams dropping off, they might sneak back in again. I think the Champions League's probably a little bit far away for them, but yeah. I always think when you think about teams getting to Europe, how it'll affect their league form next year. I know it's a bit of a downbeat way of looking at it, but I can't help it. And I don't know. Obviously, every fan base likes the European tour and that, but if they get into Europe, they'll fully deserve it. It's just how they manage next season. Because the manager hasn't exactly been incredible, but obviously where they are in the league says he must be doing probably as well as what De Zerbi was. But he hasn't really got much press attention, I don't think, really.
Yeah,
Not like
the only real attention that Brighton have got this season is when they got battered 7-0 away at Nottingham Forest. That's the only thing that jumps into my mind straight away. And they've gone about their business quite quietly and quite effectively. I mean, they're level on points with Newcastle, who are in sixth now, albeit, of course, Newcastle have a game in hand due to the cup final today. But they're well within a chance of, Europa League or Conference League this season. There's those sort of clubs there. So you've got, I mean, you can put Man City above it, I suppose. You've got Newcastle, Brighton, Fulham have elevated up into it today. Aston Villa and Bournemouth. It's a bit of a push down to Brentford. I think they're out of it. So you've got pretty much from 10th upwards, Bournemouth, Villa, Fulham, Brighton. You've got 4 clubs there, probably fighting for 2 or 1 European spot.
it'd be great for any of them clubs to get it. I just wonder if it'd be an amazing thing for our league, though. And that's a bit of a snobby Big Six opinion, maybe. But we've just seen Liverpool basically get taken apart in 2 legs versus PSG. I know they took it to penalties, but they were outplayed in both games, in my opinion. I know Arsenal are still going well in Europe, but I'll be surprised if Tottenham or Man United win the Europa League. And I know you're chuffed that you won the Conference League the other season, but I'm pretty sure you've taken no notice about Chelsea doing that this year at all.
They won't win it.
I don't think you could probably name 5 teams that are left in it. Some of the names are that obscure this year. I was looking at it and I think, blimey. I don't know. You said a minute ago about it's good that a top team's not winning a trophy, and it is. It's nice that it's shared around. But I think our league it's missing a really good team this year. Do you know what I mean? I know you said about the quality dropping off quite a lot, but even watching Liverpool in that cup final, you think, how's this team 12 points clear at the top of the Premier League?
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's nice that these other teams can win trophies and get into Europe, and it's not the same 6 or 7 every single year. But I do feel like the league's missing 1 or 2 sort of top level teams at the moment. I think that's quite glaringly obvious, which the league in general could just do with that. I think coming back a little bit.
Absolutely, we haven't got a dominating side, and you make an interesting point there in terms of Liverpool and PSG. I mean, yeah, they were completely battered in both legs. There's no doubt about it, and that's our best team this season by a country mile, which probably epitomises how poor the whole league has been this season. And it was showing up again this afternoon. So that's why, and again, it happened with us a few years ago when Tottenham and Arsenal dropped off. About 3 years ago, the door opens up, and the door has opened up again with Man United and Tottenham not performing. The door's opened up for one of these teams to jump in to a European spot. So intriguing. That's probably the only intriguing part left of the season, the fight for those European spots, because everything else is all but confirmed. Now, at the start of the season, if I'd have said to you Ipswich Forest, you'd have probably said relegation 6-pointer, Sean, but it is not farther from the truth, as Nottingham Forest now sit on 54 points, 4 points off second, 5 points clear of Chelsea, and solid in third place. And this, again, all but confirms Ipswich's relegation, Sean.
But yeah, Forest have got this momentum, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? They've got the confidence, momentum. Not many teams have probably got that. Most teams are inconsistent, so I think they'll probably hang on to a top 4 spot if I'm being pushed on an answer. I know we said we hope they do, but I've said I hope they do. I just think they probably will, because I don't see them falling off a cliff. I don't really see Chelsea or Man City going on a crazy run of like winning 6-7 in a row or anything like that. They'll drop points obviously, but I don't see them going away. So I actually think they might hang on to one of the spots. And I also don't know if Champions League goes down to 5th or not now. I can't remember. I don't know how it works. I'll have to sit down and look. They haven't mentioned it for a while, but I think we were looking at a 5th spot. So I hope they do, and I think they will. But yeah, Ipswich. I'm trying to think. When the 3 came up last year, always my prediction was, to my mate who's a Leeds fan, I said, definite bottom 6. None of them would go out the bottom 6. No. I did expect all 3 to be a little bit better than what they are. I watched a lot of the Championship last year, and especially Leicester. I know they lost their manager and their best player, but they spent I think they spent 150 million on players. The bulk of the squad back up. Ipswich, they were almost like the smaller of the 3 clubs that come up.
Like sort of Luton last year is, the analogy that you can draw from it, and they just haven't quite had enough, have they? Well, they haven't had enough by a long way.
No, the manager's done. McKenna's still there, and he's done very, very well. I'd imagine it won't damage his reputation too much by how poor they've been. They just don't have many Premier League class players, and when you're watching the Championship and they're playing good football, Saints played great passing football. And it just didn't work in the Premier League. There's just too many passes around the back and not getting the ball forward, and it's just not good enough. So Ipswich should go back down. I'd imagine they'll lose McKenna within another 12 months, and you might not see him back up again. So that's just how brutal the Premier League is. Same with Southampton. I look at Southampton as being almost Premier League sort of regulars, almost, because they. Majority of the years they've been there or thereabouts. I know they've been down a couple of times, but they're going to even if they come back up again, I don't see the structure to keep them up.
I think we are reaching a really sort of pivotal period for the gap between the Championship and the Premier League. Next season is going to be key, because if next season repeats this season, then that's a hat-trick 3 in a row of the 3 coming up, the 3 going back down again. We need some competitiveness, and no matter how good the Championship seems to be, and no matter how good these teams seem to be in the Championship, they're not reaching the level in the Premier League. And gone are the days of the gap being, narrow between the two, and let's be honest, the Premier League's been awful this year, and the Championship sides that have come up have got nowhere near it.
The strange thing is, I think it was only 3 seasons ago that all 3 promoters started. So I think was it Brentford, Forest?
Brentford, who was it? Brentford, Leeds?
No, not Leeds.
Leeds, Brentford.
Yeah, it might have been Leeds, but then they said it the first time. Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah,
I think it might be the last time Fulham come up, or Forest as well. One of them
might have been one of those 2. Yeah.
But yeah, the last 2 years it's been borderline embarrassing, hasn't it? Really. And like I said, last year I thought the top 4 in the Championship last year were quite strong. Obviously, Leeds missed out, and I watched a little bit of the Championship this year. You got the likes of Coventry and Bristol City in the playoffs, more or less at the moment, and I don't hold any hope for any of them. Leeds, they're trying their utmost to bottle it again, but they don't have any. I don't think they have many Premier League class players in their side. I mean, not the Premier League most weeks, saying it's not quite as good. The standard's not very good, so maybe it's all filtered down a little bit. Maybe the standard just slipped.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and it's something to keep an eye on next season. What was the game like at Goodison? Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, I love that ground, this history, but God, I won't miss that concourse and those toilets. Jesus Christ, it's prehistoric. It is an absolute ball ache trying to get anywhere in that place. I mean, basically, Sean, they cram 1,500 in the lower tier into the smallest concourse you could probably, get health and safety wise. It's an absolute nightmare. But yeah, that's sort of part of it. Wooden flooring, and the seats are like prehistoric. No, I love Goodison Park, and we'll miss it for sure. And I hope that their generic bowl will be good, because we've all had our homes stripped away, and it's just not quite the same. And I hope that they don't go down the same path in that sense. We won the Conference League with 8 Europa League teams in it. Chelsea will win it, only beating the 3rd best side in Albania. That's a good point. We had it harder, Sean. We had to beat Europa League teams as well.
Why was that? Because they dropped in.
Because it was 3rd drop down, didn't they, into the?
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of that theory though, because even when they used to drop out the Champions League and the Europa League, the teams just almost like they can't be bothered if they drop in. They better. I think a lot of it.
Conference League's given to you, your fans gladly take it, Sean.
What's that say again?
If the Conference League's given to you, your fans gladly take it. Don't even.
No, you know my opinion on the Conference League. I don't think it should exist for Premier League sides, but that's a different conversation altogether. I don't think it'll be around long. Let's put it like that.
Next, we'll go to Goodison Park, as we were just discussing. Everton 1, West Ham United 1. it was a game where both sides are reaching the end of the season with not a lot to play for. Nice to see Moyes, and the first thing he did after the game was come over and just acknowledge the travelling fans. So that was nice to see. But apart from that, the chips were the highlight. Very nice chips outside the ground, and I will miss that place because it's one of the very few, that and Selhurst are the two proper old school left in the Premier League at the moment. So with Goodison leaving us this season, that it was sad for it to be our final trip there. Had some good memories there, and scored first. Played pretty poorly in the first half, and were relatively fortunate to be where we were at that stage. And yeah, Souček with a really cool, calm and collected finish into the corner, side-footed it in nicely. That was good to start the second half, and we did respond after a really poor first half. And then literally as soon as we scored, flicked a switch, Everton got on top, and it was building, momentum was building, and you sensed it was going to come at some point. Frustrating that it came in the 91st minute, but a draw, probably a fair result. I was a little bit annoyed because of because of how it ended, and not being able to hold on 5 minutes away from all 3 points, of course, is going to be frustrating. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, does it? With teams losing, with Spurs losing today, and with Everton being there in that little pack, it would have been nice to move above. But it doesn't matter if we finish 10th or 16th, really, does it? Just a few more quid in Sullivan's pocket, and it's a glorified pre-season now. There's some concerning performances in there. Ferguson came on for like 10 minutes at the end. It's going to be one of the most useless loans in Premier League history. That's going to be. And a couple other not great performances, and lacking a bit of cohesion in midfield going forward, because attacking wise we are lacking. Any comments, Sean?
Not really, mate. Not really. Like you said, the season. Excuse me. The season is fizzling out fast now. I think that's fair to say. And I think fans just got to try and hold it together, especially the ones that haven't had great seasons. It's pointless having a meltdown over things that aren't that important, really. Like you said, it doesn't matter if you finish 11th or 16th. A great deal now if you're out of all the cups. Things with most of our clubs, it's always about next season. That you get halfway through the season. Oh, next season. When we get an attack next season, we need a goalkeeper next season. It's always next season. But yeah, it has been a flat season for most of us, and I'll be honest with you, I'm looking forward to it ending, but I'm not going to miss a break. It's the international break now, and I don't even think I'll probably watch the England game, so I'm just having a couple of weeks off, whatever it is. Yeah. It's not a bad thing.
No, it's just I think there's just a sense of apathy in football in general in England at the moment. I don't think I'll watch the England games. I mean, if there's really nothing else on, I might stick it on and send myself to sleep. But I might enjoy the break actually. Going to Wolves on the 1st of April in a couple of weeks, so something to look forward to in that sense. But yeah, it just is what it is. Glorified pre-season for about 14 clubs now, really, isn't it?
So you said about Ferguson, it doesn't look the part. It doesn't look it's going to click or anything, and it did surprise you when there's a 40 million price tag put on his head. I know you got him on loan, but obviously if he's not going to be the answer, which I probably didn't think he ever was going to be, that means you've got to go back out and look for another striker, I assume.
Well, that would be the insinuation.
And the talker to be back, but
I don't know. Yeah, well, we've got the German bloke who we've seen for about half an hour all season. I suspect he'll probably go. I mean, Antonio, that's up in the air. Danny Ings will probably go. So, yeah, likelihood is we're going to be buying another striker this summer, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Delap from Ipswich. I could see him going to you, but I think you're going to have to get your wallet out. I think they're going to want 50 million plus for him, probably.
Yeah.
That's the sort of player I can see at West Ham, because he sort of gives that committed sort of Jarrod Bowen sort of feeling, similar sort of thing. So I could see that, and I think if he went to West Ham, I think he'd probably start. There's a lot of clubs that might want him where he won't be the first choice striker. So if I was a fan, he'd probably be right near the top of my wanted list, as well as
the thing with Delap is I could see Man United going in and paying like 70 million for him, just going over the odds as they normally do, and just buying another striker and paying double what he's probably worth. It screams Man United to me, but I'd take him, dependent on how much money we have and where else Potter deems to spend money. But yeah, that's a conversation for the summer. There will probably be a striker, another one coming to West Ham in the summer. We'll finish at Craven Cottage. Now, this did actually shock me. Fulham 2, Tottenham 0. And then I reassessed things, went, hang on, Fulham are 9th, and look where Tottenham are at the moment. I mean, you won in Europe in midweek, so that was the important game. But it's another defeat in the Premier League, Sean.
Yeah, same as most weeks, mate. I didn't watch the game because I was running the line for my son's team, so I was following the game. My son didn't actually play, so he was watching it on his phone, telling me what was happening. I sort of hinted at it a minute ago when I said about fans can't lose their head, but games there's not a lot on it. Tottenham fans are losing their head a little bit over this. The important game was it's a very we must have had the strangest season out of any team in the league. Let's put it like that. For varying reasons, it's been weird. We said we won the important game. I thought we played quite well in the week, to be quite honest. He said he hasn't been doing this today in the interview, but he must be almost building his team around these Europa games. Like he left out 5 or 6 today, who played Thursday and played well on Thursday. From what I've read and heard by people coming out the ground, it was a very, very poor football matches today, and it was very, very even. And we were probably the better team until they scored. But obviously we've got a few back from injury, so we took off Romero with about 25 minutes to go, and we were nowhere near as strong at the back. It was a strange. I think he subbed Van Ven on the bench. I know he's played in the week, but he didn't even bring him on. But you think if he's going to give Romero a rest, he'd do a like for like. He didn't do that. We've got Frankfurt in the Europa League, are quite strong this year. I think they're 3rd or 4th in Germany.
Cool, so Christ, your fans will like that trip. That is one of the biggest hellholes in Europe, that is.
I know. I don't know good things about Germany at all, to be honest. When they had the Euros, how bad the cities were over there. But yeah, that's the priority. But I think that's April the 10th and April the 17th. So that's a little way away. I don't really know why you needed to rest players so much today. We've seen this now with the international break. A strange stat for you: we've lost the last 6 games before an international break. So whatever's going on there, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know whether they wind down trying to think they're going to go and have hard training sessions with a country. I don't really know what goes on there, but our record is very poor before those. It's been a strange season. There's been an element of excuse for it, but nothing will be acceptable to finish bottom half. If Tottenham ever finish at bottom half of the table, it will be seen as a terrible, terrible season. If Tottenham finish 7th in the season, the players aren't usually happy. I remember they interviewed Eric Dyer a couple of years ago, the year we qualified for the Conference League, and he looked really angry, really annoyed. He said, "Look, we've achieved the bare minimum, and it's not good enough." Well, now we're going to finish probably 15th. You're not 14th. I don't know. And it'll be I say these league games aren't important, but we need to build up some kind of momentum a little bit for these European games. But then he's chopping and changing the team so much. Do you know what I mean? Like, today was the first game since he signed that Archie Gray's played in his proper position. He's chopped and changed it loads. I don't think the manager will be there next season, even if we win the Europa League.
Wow.
I just don't think he'll be there. I think they'll. Really? No, I don't think that'd be enough to save him his job.
Oh, get Ryan Mason back in there. There he goes. He's back in.
Well, I'd get rid of Ryan Mason as well.
Blimey.
Because for his own good anyway, really, because he's a good coach, and I think he nearly got a job abroad, didn't he? Was it in Holland or something like that? I can't remember.
Did he? I thought he had spurs cremated on his brain.
No, it's time he got a proper job. Put it that way. You can't just be Levy's sort of little side man. But no, it's going to be tough to win the Europa League for Tottenham or Man United. I just don't think either of them are probably good enough to win it. Either of them. But even if it did, I don't think that it would save his job. I just don't see it happening. I'll be amazed if they're not already looking. I'm in the camp where it's daft to sack anyone mid-season now. It's not just you got the Europa. Some fans would rather he went tonight.
Yeah.
But then you're not going to get pointless giving it to Ryan Mason for the cup run in. It's been a strange year. That's all I can say. We've looked very good at times and very, very poor at times. But it's the chopping and the changing of the team, partly forced due to injury. But like today, I know he's probably scared and protecting the players now. Do you know what I mean? Like they're only just starting to come back. But if that's the case, why did he start Solanke today? If that's his attitude, didn't need to start him if he's gonna. He could have picked Dane Scarlett. He sat on the bench for 90 minutes. So
wow, mind-boggling sometimes.
I don't really have the answers, if I'm honest, with Tottenham this year. It's been that hard to work out.
I don't blame you. Before we wrap things up, it would be good to see a video at the end of the year of what players from our squad we would want to see at the club next year. Well, that's not many. Which would go on a free massive rebuild needed by Potter. It is absolutely, we will do that, and yeah, there won't be many staying if I was in charge. But there we are. Sean, thank you very much indeed for joining me. Same time, it won't be same time, same place next week because there's no football to discuss.
We'll have a little break, mate. We'll have a little break.
Couple of weeks off, and we'll be back. I think there's some midweek games to get us back underway in a couple of weeks at the start of April.
What we might have to do if it gets that boring, we're going to have to drop into the Championship and see who's going to get promoted out of there. To mix it up.
Good point. Very, very good. We might have to do that and have a look at the little playoff run in and see what the likes of Coventry and Bristol City are like, and have a little look at that. So that is a good suggestion. So thank you very much, Sean, for that. Until next time, from me, Conway Wines, and we'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and goodbye. Cheers, Sean. Thank you.